What's up, Mosaic? My name's Hannah, and I'm here to tell you all about how I've been keeping busy and crushing COVID. So, I'm a nurse. I work at the Health Science Center, so I'm still working, but work has significantly slowed down for me. Especially there a few weeks ago, I had no shifts, so I'm casual, so I'm not a full-time schedule. So, I've been picking back up at the piano. I was in lessons there for a long time, and so I'm trying to relearn a few classical pieces, and it's not going so well, but I'm still trying to learn and practice. So that's been fun. I've been baking. I've been trying new recipes. I'm trying to channel my inner Nan. And me and my roommate, we moved during this whole time, so that kept us busy there for a while with the packing and unpacking and all that stuff. And I've been reading a lot. My roommate is Courtney. She's crazy avid fast reader, so I've been trying to keep up with her, and I've read 2 books so far, and I'm trying to fill my time with things other than screens and Netflix. I find that feeling like being on my phone and watching TV is just like empty space fillers and doesn't really do anything to fill me. So I've been actually listening to podcasts. My favorite are Oprah's Super Soul Conversations. She's always talking to someone new, and she's really wise. She's a lovely woman to listen to, so definitely check those out if you're into that. Myself and my boyfriend Adrian, we've been going for lots of hikes and walks, and now we're trying to go for runs. We did our first one there a few days ago, and it was tough, so we'll keep you updated on how that goes. And I'm just really trying to take advantage of this sort of slowed down time, and although I'm eager to get back to normal, I miss Mosaic. I miss the setting up and the tearing down, all the in-betweens that make that church home. But I'm still trying to really take advantage of the slowed down time and rest and recoup and prepare for what's ahead. But I do miss you guys. I miss the conversation. I miss the hugs and actually being able to be together in connection. It's been tough, but we will get back together again soon, and it will be a good time. So I think I'm almost over my 2-minute mark, so I'll see you guys soon, hopefully, and stay well.
Hannah, thanks so much for keeping us in the loop on how you're crushing COVID week in and week out. And this is something that we're doing just to keep the Mosaic family connected together, give us a little bit of a window on what everybody's doing week in and week out to help crush COVID. And so make sure you keep checking out our stream each week, and we'll be sharing stories of how many different people connected to the Mosaic family are crushing COVID together. So make sure you keep checking back with us. We want to welcome you to Mosaic at Home. We're so happy that you've decided to join us. We're super excited that we are streaming on our Facebook page, but also tonight we're streaming on our YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed for that yet, please head over to YouTube and search up Mosaic Campus Church. You'll be able to see all of our streams there each week as well. There'll be uploaded videos of past streams that we've already done, so make sure you check that out at some point this week. In case you don't know who I am, my name is Steve Grimes. I'm going to be your host for tonight. We have an amazing Mosaic at Home for you this evening. We have our friends Jacob and Alyssa leading worship. We're going to have a conversation with Chris Chase on spiritual health and what that means and what it can look like for us in this time. And then immediately after that conversation, we're going to be having our Mosaic After Party Zoom chats. And basically what these are is a time for us to connect with each other, ask questions, dig into the content a little bit deeper, and we would love for you to be a part of this. They've been so great in the past weeks that we've been doing it. So if this is something that interests you, you can sign up at bit.ly/MCC Afterparty, and we'll send you the Zoom link. And as soon as the stream is done tonight, we'll hop in on that Zoom chat and have a conversation together. So please make sure you join us tonight for that. Also, for those who signed up for our Mosaic Snack Pack this week, I hope you're enjoying your snacks, your chips, your cookies, whatever you found in the bag that you got. I hope you enjoy that during the stream. A couple of great things to keep in mind that are happening as a part of our Mosaic family this week and the weeks coming. On Wednesday, May 27th, we have another Instagram Live worship night hosted by our worship coordinator, Emily. These are great times for us to connect together, to spend some time in worship. And so all you do is on Wednesday night at 7:30, go to our Instagram page. If you don't follow it yet, it's at Mosaic Campus Church, and you'll see the Instagram Live worship happening right there. This is an awesome time in the middle of the week, just to kind of shut everything else out that's going on around us and just really focusing on worship, and to hear some really cool and empowering things from our worship leaders here at Mosaic. So make sure you take that in this week. As well, on Thursday, May 28th, we have another Mosaic study group happening. For many of you, you're studying now at school, or maybe you're working from home, and if maybe you're finding it really hard to be productive being alone studying at your house. And so what we've done is created a Zoom room that you can join, and you can connect with people, but also get some work done, get some studying done. And for some of you think, oh, that's not productive at all. But yes, it's a time for us to connect with people and see how people are doing, but there's a level of accountability there as people are watching you study and making sure that you're getting some things done. And so if you want to be a part of that, just go to the link bit.ly/MCC study group, and we'll make sure we get you all the information that you need for that. Something we also have available to those connected to Mosaic, or those who value the experience at Mosaic, is giving through e-transfer. All you do is send your e-transfer to mosaiccampuschurch@gmail.com, put in a generic question and answer, and we can receive your giving that way. If you have any questions about giving, like where does this money go to, how does this process work, please feel free to reach out to us at that same email, or you can message us on Facebook and Instagram, and we'll answer any questions that you may have. And last thing, we have an awesome opportunity for everyone to be a part of our Mosaic Cares initiative that we launched this past week, that kind of covers all of our Love Your Campus initiatives and hospitality initiatives. And so we partnered with the organization NL Eats, who are giving food donations to people who are in different life situations where they don't have easy access to groceries or meals, and they're doing an amazing job with this. And we, as a Mosaic community, are asking you to join in collecting food that we can give to NL Eats to help them in the initiatives that they're doing as they donate it to people in need. And so how this will work is, if you want to join in on this, you collect some food donations, and then on June 6th, we'll arrange a time with you to pick it up, where you'll put it on your front step. We'll come pick it up from you and give it to NL Eats so that they can distribute it to those who are in need. And so all you do is sign up at bit.ly/Mosaic Cares, and we'll get your name, your email, and your address. We'll arrange a time to pick it up from you on June the 6th, and then we'll get it to NL Eats. And so this is an awesome opportunity to be a part of. A lot of times we've had conversations during this time of how important it is to care for others or to give back to others during this time that we're living in. And so this is just an amazing opportunity to do just that. And so if you have any questions about what this looks like, if I haven't answered some questions that you have already, please feel free to reach out to us. Keep checking in on our social media. We'll keep posting details there. But please be a part of this. We would love to just bless NL Eats with what they need so that they can give these donations to people in need in our city. Thanks for joining us for Mosaic at Home. Again, we're so excited that you decided to join us. Jacob and Alyssa, our good friends, are coming now to lead us in worship.
Hi Mosaic, this is Jacob and I'm Alyssa, and we're going to sing a few worship songs with you tonight, so feel free to join in wherever you guys are.
I raise a hallelujah in the presence of my enemies. I raise a hallelujah louder than the unbelief.
Louder 'cause we trust you. Your ways higher than our own, higher than our own.
When my heart said run, your voice said come. Your mercy captured me. When my mind said go, your spirit spoke. Such a holy mystery. You said come home. You said come home. I've never met a father loves quite like you. I've never met a father, such grace and truth. I've never met a father will walk me through any storm of this life. Whisper, I love you. All the fear and lies I was blinded by, from a voice that is not yours. But your grace came in like a rushing wind. You marked this mystery. You said come home. You said come home. I've never met a father loves quite like you. I've never met a father, such grace and truth. I've never met a father will walk me through any storm of this life. Whisper, I love you. And I was born to love you. I was born to trust you. I was born to know you, to walk in your ways day after day. And I was born to love you. Oh, I was born to trust you. And I was born to know you, to walk in your ways day after day. You said come home. I've never met a father loves quite like you. I've never met a father, such grace and truth. Never met a father will walk me through any storm of this life. Whisper, I love you. Just sing that out again. I've never met a father who loves quite like you. Never met a father. Never met a father who loves quite like you. Never met a father, such grace and truth. I've never met a father will walk me through every storm of this life. Whisper, I love you.
days, oh so highly exalted, glorious in heaven above. Oh, may you came to the earth you created, all for love's sake became poor. Here I am to worship, here I am to bow down, here I am to say that you're my God. You're altogether lovely, altogether worthy, altogether wonderful to me. And I'll never know how much it costs to see my sin upon that cross. I'll never know how much it costs to see my sin upon that cross. Here I am to worship, here I am to bow down, here I am to say that you're my God. You're altogether loving, altogether worthy, altogether wonderful to me. You're altogether loving, altogether worthy, altogether wonderful to me. You're altogether loving, altogether worthy, altogether wonderful to me.
So God, we thank you that we serve a God who is altogether lovely, God, and altogether worthy. And that we serve a God who can bring us peace in times such as this, God, where there's so much uncertainty and anxiety levels are heightened, God. We thank you that you just bring a sense of peace and calm to our lives, God. Lord, I pray right now, as our Mosaic family may be separated, God, through social distancing, God, I thank you that we still have the ability to connect, God, through social media and technology, God. And I pray in this time where it's so important to lean on each other and just continue to have that connection, God, I pray we will realize that it's much more important to stay connected to you, God. I pray we would keep this in mind in the coming days as you strengthen us with things to come, God. Be with us now. In Jesus' name, amen.
Chris, so much for joining in and giving some of your wisdom to our Mosaic fam. They all know you really well.
Hey guys.
So it's going to be good for them to hear from you again. Thanks for doing this.
No problem. Glad to. I don't know if I want to go with the words wisdom, but my parents always told me to never turn down a compliment, so I will take it.
Good. You better, because it's true.
Yes.
Maybe before we get into it, we're going to talk a little bit about what spiritual health is and get your perspective on that. But maybe before we do, let everyone know, like, what's quarantine life like for you? What are you up to now? How is it with kids in the house? That kind of thing.
Quarantine life is, it's this weird thing of every day feels like Saturday and every day feels like Tuesday at the exact same time. Right?
Yeah,
so you don't know you're up from your down. You don't know, you can't remember if you've done the same thing over and over again. You can't, all these sort of things that you think you know, you don't know. We have an 11-year-old and an 8-year-old, And so, we went from March break being a week to March break being extended for 2 weeks to then going online to find schooling stuff for them to do, which literally lasted all of 3 days because I am not a homeschooling dad. To then finally Google Classroom being started with their school. And so really it's finally getting them up in the morning because they now sleep like teenagers, it feels like, and getting them situated in their classroom stuff, getting their work done, and then them going off and doing their own things in the room. We're fortunate that that the kids are at the age where they're a bit more self-sufficient. So they need us, but they don't need us at the same time too. So it's not like I don't know what it would be like if the kids were 3 and 4 and they needed constant, right? Like our kids are more like, hey, I'm gonna go play video games, I'm gonna go talk to my friends on FaceTime, I'm gonna go do this, I'm gonna do that. And then we have moments of coming together, then moments of having our own time, and our house is spaced out enough so that we have moments where we're all together, but then we all have our own spaces where we can go as well. So it's not horrible. Let's just say horrible. It's not bad. The only downside is my personality is one where I like to be out. So I like going to a cafe and sitting down and reading a book, or I like walking through chapters, or my wife hates it, but I love walking through the mall. Obviously because walking through the mall leads to buying something in the mall, but I love walking. Yes. Like I love sort of stuff. And so those things don't exist anymore. So it's harder. I guess the hardest part about the quarantine life or the physical isolation part is finding stuff to do when you've done everything.
Yeah.
But we're making it, right? Like it's getting warmer here. And so because it's getting warmer here, we're able to be outside a bit more. And, so that means, summer's coming and bikes are going to be out and that sort of thing. And so as it gets warmer, it'll get easier. I couldn't imagine what this would be like if we were going through this in December. This would be painful as all get out. But, at some point it'll get warmer, and I'm sure for you guys, it'll still be 14, 15 degrees. Even in mid-July, but for us, it'll get warm enough that we can kind of be outside more and put the patio out and hang out. So, but we're doing okay. How are you guys doing? How's Milo Pilo?
Milo's awesome. Milo's just enjoying the fact that we're home every day and he doesn't have to be home alone.
I love that dog.
Yeah, but the weather here actually has been really well. I mean, not like really good, but like nice sunshine. It's still cold, so I think that's like helping with everybody's mood and even their mental health. Like they're able to get out for walks and stuff like that. So do you still have Fluff Bomb?
Yeah. the bunny still lives. The bunny is still here. He
is the bunny.
Yeah, he is the fifth member of our crew. Yes, he is. That's all I'll say. He is.
That's awesome.
He is. Yeah.
Cool.
He is.
Cool. I'm glad you guys are doing well, man.
Yeah. No, we're like we don't know how long this is, obviously, and so you try to the idea of pace and space. Yeah. The idea of kind of like spacing yourself out, taking your time and just kind of realizing that like you can't kind of vision cast 5 months down the road, but also you can't just live in right now either. Like you just kind of take your time moment by moment, allow yourself to have a day that's pretty crummy because you didn't get to see anybody. We are not built for Zoom chats. They're good and they're the next best thing, but we're not built for that. We're actually built for human contact. And so, but this is what it is right now. And realize, but this is just the beginning of normalcy. Like there's never going to be a moment where things are normal ever again. Like that's almost blasphemous. Like I can't wait for things to go back to normal. Like, normal for us in the future might mean wearing masks to the grocery store and wearing gloves. That might just be the normal that we have.
Yeah.
Normal might mean curfews. Those sort of things. Normal might mean a lot more people working from home and less people. Like we don't know. And so moving towards normalcy kind of helps. Knowing like, okay, like, but at the same time, I've gone for more walks in the last 2 months than I literally have gone on in the last 17 years of my life.
Yeah.
Like actual, just like I'm going for a walk right now, whether
Yeah.
it's with somebody in my family or by myself. Like I haven't, like, who goes for walks?
Yeah.
Like, who does that? But we, you know, and this is like not walking with like going to see something. It's just like just getting outside for fresh air. Like,
Yeah.
but like it is what it, that's the normal that we're living in now. That's the normalcy
Yeah.
that we have right now, and so we're kind of doing that as best as we can.
Cool. Man, see, already wisdom even before I even asked the questions. That's the best. So I wanted to chat with you about like spiritual health.
Sure. Yeah. Let's do that.
A little bit about what that means, how it's being affected in this time. So maybe right off the beginning, can you like tell us, in terms of a relationship with Jesus, what does spiritual health mean to you? Like, how would you best define that for a young adult?
If I was going to define that term, I would look at it as sort of the combination of multiple areas of health. I will look at it as the combination of emotional health, mental health, physical health, and soul care. I would look at it as like spiritual health is all of those things kind of moving in the same direction. You know, you can't be spiritually healthy if you're not at least working on being physically healthy. You can't be spiritually healthy if you're not putting proper things in place to work on being mentally healthy. That's not saying that like mental health challenges are mean that you're not spiritually healthy, but if we're making proper strides. Same thing with our emotional health. Same thing with our scholastic health in terms of how we're reading the word, spending time with it, studying it, that sort of thing. So spiritual health, or moving towards that, is when all of those things, if that Venn diagram, if you will, of all like the multiple circles, trying to find the middle as much as possible. So that's how I would define it. And especially in moments like this, like, I mean, solitude is a real thing.
Yeah.
Right. And so practicing, like, you know, not only solitude, but community, like community health, solitude health, like all these sort of things, they all factor into some sort of ultimate spiritual health.
I like that because, I mean, for me anyway, someone who grew up in church their whole life, anytime I would hear, even to this day, if I hear someone say, you got to be spiritually healthy, I'm like, oh, this guy's going to tell me to read my Bible and pray more. Right. But like putting it into perspective of all encompassing over even your physical health, which I want to get into with you a little bit, and your mental health. I think that's gold. That's great.
I think like we put these things in categories, right? But they're all of one whole, as opposed to like, you know, like I'm really into physical health, but then everything else is crappy. I'm really into emotional health and reading self-help books, but everything else is like, no, like everything should spill into everything, and then all of those make for a life of actual discipleship. They make for a life of an actual discipled, disciplined person, where we're trying to excel in every area. And by excel, I mean, like, if we need to get help in different areas, so no different than somebody going to counseling for mental health issues, getting a physical trainer, or reading up, or having somebody accountable for physical, or reading books on self-help for emotional, like that sort of thing. So we're all kind of moving in those directions so that ultimately we are a spiritually healthy individual.
Yeah, that's good. I know, like, you're someone, I mean, everybody can't see your muscles right now, but you're someone I'm just trying to praise you up here, man.
Thank you, my friend.
Yeah. I know you're someone who like really takes, I don't know if pride's the word, but holds a high importance in physical health. Like even the times that you've come to Newfoundland, like I'm pretty sure you went to like a gym in Lewisport one time, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
I mean, a gym in Lewisport I've never been to.
Yeah. I mean, I listen, I love Lewisport. Like I do.
Yeah.
And the town is great. That's all I'll say.
Excellent. So obviously, I mean, even for like a week away, you hold it in priority, and even when you stay at our house, you've gone to Good Life and stuff like that. So has that been something that's always been a part of your life? Have you always seen it as a connection with spiritual health?
It hasn't always been a part of my life, and I haven't always seen it as a connection to spiritual health. When I, like anybody else, it's like, it's either to get healthy or to get praise and attention because you weren't getting that before. Right. Like that's sort of like, I need to get healthy because I'm not doing well healthy, or like vanity muscles so that people go like, oh, look, you've been right. It was probably only in the last 2-3 years where I realized that, like, with my own mental health challenges, going like, this is actually helping me figure out this area of my life. So it stopped simply being about just going to the gym. It was, I need to go to the gym and work out or run or whatever else, so that when I'm in a meeting, my worry is down and my stress level is down, so that I can focus better, so that I can read more, so I can sleep better, because rest is so important. All those sort of things. Because if I'm rested well, then I can be more attentive in the next day or later on in the day, if I'm those sort of things, and even in connecting with different people. And so it's something that has become more important to me, because I realize that it's a part of that whole Venn diagram. It's not like on its own world where like, I need to do this because I'm training for this show, or which I'm that no. I like chips and cookies too much. But
Right.
to be able to say like, it's a part of that Venn diagram, it's a part of the entire thing, it's a part of the entire story of someone as a person. The only difference is that you can see that somebody is actually developing physical health. You can't really see, eye test the spiritual portion or the mental health portion. You can't see those things. Those things you only find out in depth in conversation, in depth in relationship. That's the only real difference.
Yeah. So say someone's watching, and physical health is not really necessarily a priority for them, never seen it as importance. Um, Not because it's like it's so hard to give up like cookies and chips, but just like just no interest in it. But maybe you talking about how this affects your spiritual health has convinced them to kind of start. Like, where would you recommend them starting? Is it a gym membership or
Well,
walk?
like gym memberships don't even exist right now. Like, so right now where we are, I was randomly went to a store this weekend, a store that was open, and I had to kind of wait in line for and everything else because of physical distancing, and they had no gear for anything. They had nothing because everything's at back order. And so I think that I think the way you start over time, gym membership, that sort of stuff, and make it a priority, make it a stewardship thing. Like, if I'm paying $45 a month for a gym membership, then I'm actually going to use it because I'm paying for it. But I just think it starts with getting outside, and walking, just getting outside and doing something. It doesn't need to be like, okay, like I'm going to now suddenly get dumbbells to start working out. Like, no, like have a plan. Work with somebody who has done it before. So no different than like how, you go up to somebody, go like, hey, listen, like, you're really good at doing this. Can you teach me how to play this instrument? Can you teach me how to do that? Give me some pointers. Same thing. Find somebody who's been doing it and say, hey, listen, like, give me some pointers. Like, what can I do? How can I keep myself disciplined? And how can I work on this? How can I eat better? That sort of stuff. Because it's not just moving around, but it's also taking proper rest. It's also eating differently. It's sleeping differently. It's taking vitamins. It's not just, I was always under the impression like, if you just go to the gym, you work out, it's fine. But no, there's so many other things, especially as I get older, my body gets older. There's so many other things that are important to that 45-minute to an hour workout. So I think it's one, talking to somebody who's already doing it, and then coming up with a plan with that person that you're able to be accountable with them, right? Because if somebody watches this and they go, I'm just gonna go get a membership at Good Life, and then they never go, well, then they've just wasted $45 a month.
Yeah, that's tough. And even we're built to be in relationship, like you said earlier. So even doing something like that you might not particularly enjoy with someone
Changes everything.
motivation.
Yeah. I keep on touching my
Long-
face, and I have to remember, like, we're not supposed to be touching our faces. So I keep on, stop.
Need a straight jacket.
Yeah, literally, it's that.
I want to get into just a little bit of a conversation too on some of the like classics that we think about in terms of spiritual health, Bible reading, prayer.
Mhm.
We've talked about Sabbath a little bit at Mosaic. For me, it wasn't typically a major thing growing up, but like some of these things for anyone who grew up in church, they can kind of seem like a bit of a boring practice.
Mhm.
So how has that been for you in terms of Bible reading, especially because like hearing you speak, man, the way that you communicate makes the Bible come alive. And so even just hearing like how have you made the Bible stay relevant to you? Have you switched up the way you read it? That kind of thing.
So one of the things, I've tried to do, and I've tried to stay as consistent as possible. And so there's been a couple of missed days here and there. I'm not going to lie about that, but I've put myself on a different reading plan with a different translation.
Mm.
And I try to challenge myself to read through the scripture as much as possible, and journal alongside it. And when you've done it before, you're trying. I'll speak for myself. Like, I'm trying to kind of say, like, is there something that I missed last time?
Mm.
Right? Is there something that I missed last time? Is there a name? Is there a story? Is there a moment that I didn't catch last time that I need to catch this time for this season of my life, for this moment, for this sort of chapter of whatever it is that I'm going through? And so there's sometimes where it's in the morning, before anybody wakes up. There's other times where it's later in the evening when everyone's gone to sleep. So but it's more a matter of I've had to, if you're on YouVersion, you understand, I've had to hit the catch up button a couple of times. Just because humans are humans, and some of us are better at kind of like than others. But trying to stay as consistent as possible in terms of reading. The downside of everything being closed, obviously, is you can't just go and buy new books and go and read them, and you just can't go to Chapters or whatever your local bookstore is and go and buy something. You're kind of stuck just with what you have. And so whether it's podcasts or different things like that, just trying to kind of keep a level head, while also at the same time reading other books too. But like reading other books too that are just enjoyable to kind of keep the brain fresh and keep the heart kind of racing for something else, to kind of go back to what you were to scripture, to kind of find hope in there as well.
Yeah. And what about Sabbath for you? Has Sabbath been something that's like a bit of a priority? I might be exposing you a little bit here.
No, it's like I'm laughing because it feels like every day is Sabbath. It's so weird.
Yeah.
It's so weird. It feels like
Yeah.
every day, like, the idea of sundown to sundown, right? It feels like every night is kind of like, if you do your life properly, like at 5 or 6 o'clock, you're closing your computer, and then it feels like, like all these things that should be happening. That's what it feels like. But one of the things that I've actually been able to incorporate is, I did this last weekend. It was kind of like 6 o'clock. I closed my computer, said like, no matter what's going on, like I'm not answering an email. I'm not doing anything. I'm not. And for the most part, I believe I actually did that. I didn't open my computer up, and I didn't worry about emails. I didn't worry about posts online. I just kind of stayed in the moment. And so I think Sabbath is weirder now because I keep on hearing from pastors that they're busier now than ever, which makes me laugh because I'm like, if you're busier now than ever, then what were you doing before with your full-time life?
Yeah.
If now you're busier because you're creating content all the time, then what were you doing before? Right?
Yeah.
But armchair quarterback in here. Right. But the idea of resting and proper rest. So rest is not just sleep, but rest is time with family. Rest is being outside. Rest is doing something that is different than your regular routine. So it might be, yard work or something else. It's not just like I'm on Sabbath, so I'm just gonna do housework and do laundry, but it's like, what can you do something that's enjoyable that feeds back into your soul? So that's when you're able to read a book that has nothing to do with work or nothing to do with, for people like us, ministry, or if you're into computers, like nothing to do with the work that you actually do, but it's actually restful. That doesn't require the mental work that the same sort of work does. So if your Sabbath has you doing 14 Zoom calls, then you're not on Sabbath.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And a Sabbath is different than a day off. Right. A day off is where you kind of use it to catch up on things, where a Sabbath is you actually use it to kind of feed back into your soul. So I've tried to find moments where like I let my soul be fed.
Yeah.
And so that Saturday into Sunday has been quite nice.
Yeah, that's good. And how important is like shutting out social media during those times?
Huge, because
Yeah.
like there's always the plus and minus of social media, and we're learning that more so now in isolation, like how it can drive a person crazy. Right? Like there's only so many quarantine stories you can share. We all already know about each other that none of our lives are perfect. The perfect engaged couple is not perfect. The perfect married couple is not perfect. The perfect single is not like none of them are perfect, no matter what the post is. And so to be able to pull away from that world and to experience and be okay with the FOMO, through my friend Pastor Crystal Lynn of Bethesda under the bus there, who
Shout
suffers from
out.
FOMO in the realest way. But being okay with going like, I'm gonna let the world move on without me for 24 hours. I think that's vital. Because then you're just on because you're bored. You're on because you want to kind of know what everyone else is doing, as opposed to living your own life. And so I've and varying degrees of success in that, but I've tried different moments to kind of go like, I'm just not going to pay attention to this life. And if I want to know something, I'll ask, as opposed to getting little snippets of an Instagram story. So I think it's good for our own mental health to take breaks from that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Just to kind of like, not because, are we posting things because we want people to be informed? Are we posting things because we're bored? Are we posting things because we want somebody to like it? What are we posting it for? And so to be able to pull aside from it and just kind of go like, you know what, I'm scared for a little bit, just be. I think it brings health to our souls in a good way.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. I want to ask you too, especially like some of us, maybe our typical practices with spiritual health that are kind of either put on pause or can't happen. Like people can't go to gyms now. Have you experienced any kind of creative ways in where you felt like it's helped with your spiritual health? Whether it's like spiritual retreats or something like that?
Right now, it's really hard to do that, because my spiritual retreat means like, okay, so I'm going to go pray in Liam's room, my son, as opposed to my room or the base room where my wife is working.
Yeah.
And so what I've taken to do is I've taken to walks more. I don't normally, like I said, I think earlier, like I'm not a walker, like I don't go for walks, but I found that like I've just been, my spiritual retreat is going for a walk for a little bit. Sometimes that spiritual retreat is my wife and I going for a walk and just kind of talking about the future and talking about our lives and where we're at. Sometimes it's just me walking by myself, just kind of going, hey, God, where are you? God, what's happening right now? Meditating on something I've read, or meditating on something I see in the sky, or in, that sort of thing. And just kind of like letting the Lord speak. It's really hard to kind of like, it's not like you can rent the space, go like, I'm going on a spiritual retreat for 3 days, right? Yeah. Like spiritual retreat is going to Walmart for some people and then going back home, because that's really all they can do. And so the creative part, like I every so often, like I have multiple journal books. I'm like, I probably should start like writing down these quarantine journals, so that should the apocalypse come, somebody can find it and then go like, oh, look, this is what was actually happening in Oshawa, Ontario in 2020 during this. Oh, run, the zombies are coming, like that sort of thing. So.
That's excellent.
Yes, I think the like the creativity comes in using the space that's given,
Mm.
right? So it's not like you know, you guys out on the rock, you have such picturesque spaces, you know, from Quiddy Vitty to Signal Hill to, if somebody lives in Lewisport, they can go to Twilling Gate and all these different places in between where they can go and just stand by the water and look and allow nature. But then for somebody there, they might be like, "Nah, I did that yesterday, I'm bored now. I would much rather like," right? But it's being able to kind of use the space that's around you and find that creativity, right?
Yeah.
And being at the same time being okay, like if you're not that person, just doing what works best for you,
Mm.
right? Like some people say, like, that's not how I'm wired. Okay, but don't try to be something that you're not. Excel in wherever you are, and then maybe take a step in another further in that same in another direction, that sort of thing. So
Yeah. It's funny too how like it doesn't have to be complicated. It can be something so simple what you do in terms of what you do. And I find too, if you're at least a little bit open to it, God will definitely respond in those moments.
Yeah.
Like I think about one of the most life-giving and probably spiritually enriching moments I've had in recent years was actually with you. You were here for, I can't remember what year, it might have been YB or YC, and me and you went out on quad together.
yeah,
And
that
we
was
go
awesome.
down this, so we go down this trail and we come out to these like 3 little ponds, and I'm just like, we take our helmets off and we're just there hanging out, and I just start explaining to you like there's ponds everywhere in this area and they're all flowing into each other, and you just like, yeah, that'll preach. And in that moment, like I'm like, goodness, like creation is so complex and beautiful, and God is the one that created it. And I think me and you were both like just stood there crying.
Oh, it was beautiful. And, you know, like I have goosebumps. You telling the story right now, like, oh,
Yeah.
that was just an excellent day, an excellent time, and to relive that right now would be fantastic, right?
Yeah.
But you know, I got to figure out what quad life looks like here in Oshawa, where you can't just take quads randomly anywhere.
Yeah.
And so it means being open and available to listen to the Lord wherever you are, in whatever season that you're in. And that might be a couple of words. It might not be words. It might just be a feeling. It might be a sense. It might be, but it's about putting yourself in a position to hear whatever it is and to feel whatever it is.
Yeah. No, so good. And like I've been to that area probably 3 or 4 times before I went with you and never ever had that feeling. But in that moment,
Yeah, I'm all. It's crazy.
I'm gonna have to take everybody there now.
Yeah, literally. Like, okay, but then that's a way to make extra income, like quad tours. That'll work.
Yeah,
there
absolutely.
You go.
Absolutely.
And as your silent partner, I get 5%. I'll work on that. That works.
Sure, I'm down. I'll do that. That's awesome, man. Thank you so much for doing this.
Oh, gladly. Glad to be able to hang out with you. I miss you, and I miss Rebecca, and I miss Milo Pilo, and many. I'm sure that there are new faces at Mosaic now that I've never met before, but there are some familiar faces that I've known for a few years now, and this would be so much more fun at the school, sitting and hanging out together. But obviously, we're not there yet for some time, and so if this is the next best thing, I'll assume that you're happy to see my face, guys. But it really, but it really is a privilege to be able to catch up with you for a little bit and hang out for a bit, and to be able to do this for sure.
Yeah, man. Thanks so much.
No problem. Gladly.
Love you, man.
Love you too.
There's so much good content in that conversation with Chris and the things that he shared on the whole topic of spiritual health. And I know for a lot of you, you've seen some tremendous growth in your relationship with Jesus over the past few years. And myself and Rebecca can see that so clearly in many of you. And for so many of us, we still have this hunger. And many of you are asking for prayer for it, of just a deeper relationship with Jesus during this time that we're living in. And so we don't want the conversation on what spiritual health means to end here. This is something, as Chris said, that covers basically every aspect of our lives. And so it's so vital to keep talking about it and figuring out what that actually means for us personally. And so we want to keep that conversation going with our Mosaic After Party Zoom chats. I challenge you, if you haven't been a part of one yet, join in on tonight. Some people, they just sit and take the conversation in. Others, they participate. It's completely up to you what you would like. But I know that if you participate in this, it'll just make the whole content and conversation of something that's so important to us just become so much more enriching and clearer and practical for our lives personally, where we're at in our relationship with Jesus. So we encourage you to join in on that. I want to remind you of all the things that are coming up. Our Instagram Live worship on Wednesday, study group on Thursday. We have this Mosaic Cares initiative partnering with NL Eats, collecting food donations. Make sure that you sign up for that and be a part of it. As always, we are here for you. If you need prayer, please feel free to reach out. If you just want someone to chat with, we are here. We love you, Mosaic. We believe that God's doing some incredible things still in this time through this church. And we believe there's things coming that we don't even know about, ways that we can still impact the campus that we don't even know about to come through what God is going to use us for as Mosaic Campus Church. So stick with us, stay tuned, continue to be a part of this family, share what this family is and means with people that you interact with on a daily, and we'll keep being here on Sundays, being here in social gatherings, and just being a family together during this time. Mosaic, we love you. Have an awesome week.